Well, good afternoon, viewers. Today we have a 2017 Nissan Qashqai, and it's here because the AC is not working. I don't hear the compressor engaging. And I think that triangle is on because of the... So there's the button. Don't hear the radiator cooling fans running. Now this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 YF system, so I'll have to switch over my tanks if I need to check the pressures, but we're going to throw the scanner on it first and see if there's any codes. What's it got on it for mileage? 61,000 kilometers. So let's get started. Well, this is a new vehicle record. I don't think I've scanned this before. I've worked on vehicles for this customer before, but not this particular car. So we'll do a network scan and see if it has any codes related to the AC, compressor controls, and AC clutch and system pressures. And Nissans are extremely slow. That's one way to increase the billable hours. So we finally loaded it. Let's do a pre-scan. I'm pretty sure I can do it with it running. It is running. No codes in the engine, no codes in the transmission. CAN communication history code in the ABS. Could have been a weak battery at some point. Occupant detection system communication trouble, not established data history code in the airbag. CAN communication circuit history code. It's not a current code, so that could have been caused by a weak battery, low battery at some point. I have no history on this vehicle whatsoever. This is the first time I'm scanning it. I'll pick up when we get to the end of this network scan. So while I was doing this network scan, I walked outside and checked the rear wiper on a vehicle. And walked back in, and it's still at 19 controllers, now 20. Way to go, Nissan. One of the slowest vehicles to do a network code scan on that I've seen. But let's see. Body, battery voltage low, history code, distance sensor off. AV control unit. That's the end of the report. Rear camera connection passed. Corner sensor rear left, rear right. Corner sensor rear left history. Corner sensor rear left history. Center sensor rear left history. How about just all of them? So no help. Let's see if this thing displays in the HVAC, if it displays the status of the air conditioning. Let's scan it one more time for codes. May take some time to get into self-diagnostic test status. Please wait. Seriously? 40 to 6. Okay, sun load sensor short to ground. That did not come up in the... That did not come up. Now why would it have a faulty sun load? And that's a current code. B24A9. Now could that disable the AC? Easiest thing to do is to clear it and see what happens. It says it has to be done key on engine off, but I'll try with it running and see what happens. So one of the codes cleared, but the sun load sensor code did not clear. Let's have a look at data. In-vehicle temperature sensor calculated value is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. In-vehicle temperature sensor value is 75. Fan request on. Vehicle speed 0. Temperature 163. Where's the status of the AC system? Well, maybe it has it in functional tests. HVAC test. Some sub-functions may not be supported. That's a display screen. What about special functions? Temperature set, fresh memory set, target evap temperature upper limit set, door motor setting position reset. But it doesn't give me the status of the AC. So maybe the ECM controls the AC. But you'd think you'd see a request in the data list, unless Snap-on Scanner is not displaying all the data parameters. Let's scan the ECM for codes. No codes in the ECM. Let's look at data. Main signals. I'm going to look around in here. Okay, so I built a custom data list from the 3 data lists in the engine control computer, and there's the status of the AC relay, air conditioning signal, and AC pressure right here. Now it doesn't give me the pressure in kilopascals or PSI, so I don't know if that's normal. I'm going to turn the AC switch off. The AC pressure did drop 0.85. Air conditioning relay went off. Air conditioning signal is off. I'm going to look at the front of the compressor with the light down here and see if I can see it. It's stationary now. I'm going to turn it on now. Turning it on now. The compressor is running, so I think this thing is low on refrigerant. And it kicked on the fan at 40% duty cycle. So I got to put some pressure gauges on this thing, unfortunately. So here's another problem. I've loaded Identifix, the subscription service that I use for service information, and because this vehicle was only sold in the Canadian market, they got no information. I wonder if I ID it as a US model. Let's try a new vehicle. Paste. SV USA, let's try that. Well, let's hope that it's the same. I can't see why it would be different. It's the same model, SV, same engine. I'm going to see if I'm changing over my refrigeration machine, so I'm just looking up some information. So I did a keyword search for that B24A9. And there's a note here. It says, sun load sensor may register a malfunction when indoors, at dusk, or at other times when light is insufficient. When performing the diagnosis indoors, use a lamp 60 watts or more that is pointed at the sun load sensor. That's stupid. Doesn't mention what it'll do if that code is present, but I'm certain that that's not going to disable the AC. And it doesn't stay the status of it. The only thing I can do is put a light on the sun load sensor and clear the code and see if it goes to history. But we're checking the system pressures now. Well, the static pressure is about 60 pounds on the low side and about 70 pounds on the high side. I'm going to start it and see what it does. Well, it's either undercharged or there's a problem with the controls. Got less than 10 psi on the low side and about 80 psi on the high side, so the compressor is going into low pressure. So the compressor is working, but I think we're going to recover the refrigerant and see how much comes out, compare that to the actual state of charge. So the capacity of the system is 0.5 kilogram. We'll see what comes out. We're already down to low pressure. I wonder if there's anything common for these things to leak at. So there was next to nothing that came out of the system. So I decided to do a little investigating here. See in the bottom left-hand corner of the condenser, I'm shining a black light on it and you can see the green stain. It doesn't show up very well on the camera, but this thing's got a leaky condenser. I found a couple of cases where the condenser needed to be replaced to fix the AC system. So we're not going to charge it because there's no point. It's just going to leak out, and this refrigerant is expensive as hell. I am going to check that sun load sensor with a light. Where is it? Let's see. Could be right there. It could be in the middle. So I'm looking for the sun load sensor. It's item 6 on this diagram. And it shows it right dead center of the dash. Now normally it looks like a little eye or a little button. Now there is what appears to be a button over here, but it looks like a push pin, like this one on this side. Like that there. There's nothing in there. I looked with a light, but that looks like a trim button. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So I wanted to remove the AC clutch relay or the AC clutch fuse. And under this plastic trim, we got to take all out. It needs an air filter as well by looking at it. They wisely chose to put the fuses underneath here. There's not enough wiring harness to pull this up and out. What a joke. This is the horn relay here, and none of these fuses have anything to do with the AC. It mentions on here F7 AC clutch. Oh well. So here's a picture of the intelligent power distribution module in the engine room, which is what that fuse panel is. And on the fuse panel, it says fuse 7A, but they're not labeled that. I'm assuming it's this one because it's a 77. So I'm going to look at the wiring diagram for the AC clutch and see if it feeds power from fuse 77. There's no owner's manual in the car that I can find. But I'm assuming these are fuses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would make logical sense, but so far nothing is logical on this car. So according to the electrical diagram, it is fuse 77, which is labeled 7A on the top of the IPDM. That feeds power to the magnetic clutch if the relay is turned on. I can't find the relay. I don't care. I'm just going to pull fuse 77